Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, do me for the first one. Pib, Coke, we'll do Pib. Why not? Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, everybody. We're warming up. Just mixing my drink here. Well, that bag's not for you, Moosey. That bag's not for you. That's not for you. I know you like plastic bags, but that's not for you. That's for me. Greetings, salutations. Good evening. How's everybody doing this Sunday? Hey, leave the bag alone. God damn it. I don't want to hear it rustling all night. Come here. Come here. If you're going to be a Shid, come here. Come here. Come here. Here. Yeah, we had a lot of fun in the car today, didn't we? We went on a nice long car journey to a bunch of places. Huh, Mooshi? You did really well in the car. You're very good for the most part, except for when you're being a shit. Getting eepy, huh? I know you're getting eepy. You've had a long day. Stop fucking with the bag. Here. I'll just take everything out of the bag. I got some stuff today that I'm gonna show. I got a bit of a haul today. So we'll see how everything does once a couple people turn up. Scooch. I know, I'm cleaning the bag out so you could have it, okay? I'm gonna put it in the other room so you can make all the noise you want, okay? Since you won't leave it alone. Yep, I got it right here. There you go. Here's your bag. Play with the bag all you want. Here. How's everyone doing Sunday? February 1st. To the channel. Yeah, this is an issue. It's a World War II issue. But it is an original wooden cleaning clearing rod guide type thing. But yes, it's an original one. It's just a piece of wood. Just to protect the crown, that's all. So yeah, that's an original one. It's kind of nice. I have one of those. I really like the M95. I have two of them. I have the ersatz model with its bayonet. It's an ersatz model, and it's an original one too. It's kind of rusty. It's got some surface rust on it, but other than that, it's an original ersatz M95 bayonet. And then this is the one that has the elm wood stock, which was an ersatz thing they did with the M95. And then I have just the nicest M95 ever. So next to it. So I went on an adventure today, and I was a bit of a struggle. I figured out, going off of last Sunday night stream, where I was looking at getting a new 22, and I decided I'm going to get a Winchester Expert with the traditional wood stock on it in 22 long rifle. And so I went to go look for one. And everyone apparently thinks I'm crazy. They've never heard of it. They don't know what that is. I'm like, you know what the Winchester Wildcat is, right? And they're like, yeah, we got like 2-3 of those. I'm like, it's the bolt action version. It's the same thing, but it's bolt action. They're like, nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about, apparently. So I couldn't find one. I went to like 4 different gun stores in my city of, 20,000 people. There's 4 pretty big gun stores and a Shields, and I couldn't find one anywhere. Found lots of Wildcats, but not a single Winchester expert. I just wanted to handle an expert because I know what the stock's going to feel like, but I wanted to, mess with a Winchester expert before I bought one. And nobody had one, so I went to all these different gun stores. I picked up some ammo though. So I got a little haul of ammo here that I wanted to show. I got some 22 Calibris, which I like. I like the 22 Calibris, especially for like killing squirrels and stuff, like in town. I bought a box of these Winchester Bismuth 12 gauge shells because a lot of my shotguns are old, so I can't really shoot steel in them. So I've been trying to find some like 2 3/4. I have shotguns that have 3-inch chambers. So I got some more 3-inch, which is what these are. Except I normally buy the like heavy bismuth. They're like heavy brand HEVI. Is normally what I buy, but these were half the price of the heavy brand ones. So I figured I would, give them a try and see if they're high brass bismuth. So figured I'd give them a try and see how good they do, because I can't shoot the steel out of a lot of my old shotguns. But so bought a box of those to give them a try. Got some more 22 Hornets. I'm a fan of the 22 Hornet. I really like 22s and 30 cals. I got some more of the shorty shells because I have one shotgun that has not a 2 3/4 chamber. It's a 2.5-inch chamber, which is what was the standard before 2 3/4 became a thing. And a lot of them were reamed out, but a lot of the like really, really old Winchester shotguns and the old Remington shotguns were all 2.5-inch shells. So these run in that. So I got some of those. And then I got some of these Winchester Defender rifled slugs with double-aught Bach, just to get those go. Oh, and some Hornady monolithics for the hunting rifle, because I really like the all coppers. And then I got a couple new Jags and 12 gauge swab, just because I tend to keep losing those. So I bought some. So I tend to keep losing those. And yada yada. So that's what I got today. Nothing that I was actually looking for, which kind of pisses me off actually. But what do? You can't win them all. So couldn't find the rifle I was looking for. Couldn't find any solid copper 22. But I did find some Calibris, and those are kind of hard to find. Some of the old CCI Calibris. 710 feet per second on the Calibris. Screaming fast. I wasted all day doing that and then getting the stuff for dinner, and I'm going to have like a lamb for dinner. So I think. So yeah, how's everyone else been doing? What'd you do for your Sunday? Yeah, this can go back over here. Did anyone else have a really, really good Sunday? Because mine was not the greatest, to be honest. I was not the biggest fan of how this Sunday went and how I went to all these places to look like a psychopath trying to find a rifle that came out, damn near 4 years ago now, unfortunately. So, which is just terrible. I'm not a fan. Not a fan at all. So that was a damper on my day. And then it snowed here. It snowed quite a lot here, more than what people were saying it was going to be. The roads were terrible. So, yeah, it wasn't great. Wasn't a great one day off I have a week overall. I was hoping to get a bunch done. I did laundry. That was pretty neat. I'm looking forward to dinner, though. Dinner's going to be great. So everyone else? What's everyone else having for dinner? What are they all doing? I know it's a bit early yet. People aren't quite trickling in because it's not even 5 o'clock yet. But I'd like to hear what everyone else is doing. Hopefully life's going well for everyone. I hope so, anyways. I really hope so. That's for sure. Also, is anyone interested in any scope rings? I have just a mess of Winchester Model 70 scope rings. If anybody would like some, I will send you guys some scope rings if you want to pay the shipping and handling. Hey, Moosey. What's up? What are you doing, Moosey? Hey, you. I know. You've had a long day and you're really tired and eepy. I know. You just leave my pocket buttons alone because I know you like to chew on them. No chewing on my pocket buttons, little one. Well, I'm very happy to help. I'm actually back into filming videos today. I shot a bunch of videos. I got to wait for them to upload, though, so I can get them edited and then start posting again because it's been a while since I posted. So, but I'm glad you like it. I have quite a lot of helmets. There's still a couple I want to really get on my to get list, but it's a hobby that has got really expensive here in the last couple of years, like very expensive here. So that's how all my surplus collecting started, was with helmets. Now I got guns, I got helmets, camouflage, uniforms, tons of stuff. Hey, you're not supposed to be up there because you clickety clack on the keyboard and stuff happens. Is there any helmets you're particularly looking for? Any that you find hard to find over there in the UK? Because I'll tell you what, some of the hardest helmets for me to find were the UK ones, actually. They don't turn up here in the United States that often, especially with all the ITAR rules and stuff. They were a pain to find, a lot of the British helmets. And I would talk to a lot of the British collectors and they're like, oh yeah, they're like £6 over here. And it's like, yeah, well, they're like $400 over here. So, hook a brother up. Ow, don't bite me. No biting. I know you're teething, but don't bite. It hurts. It hurts my little phalanges. For an M90 at the moment, which M90? You gotta narrow it down. There's a lot of M90 helmets. So. Oh, an Iraqi M90 helmet. Okay. They're around. You're gonna pay for them. If you can find them, though, they're usually in pretty rough shape. I normally tell people, if you're looking, unless you have all the other models, look for the M8003, which is the one I have a video on, because not only are they the most common, they tend to be in better shape. They tend to have held up better than the M90s did. If you can find the rarest one, the original M80s, that would be a gold standard. If you could find an original M80, they're around, but you're going to pay for them. All of them are around, but you're going to pay for them. But the cheapest one to find is the M8003. It was also the most common variant used. So, and that's the one that has that kind of like weird, like teal, blue, green liner in it. So, yeah, that's the crappy thing about those. They were not made very well, so they do tend to not last. I got mine in unissued condition, so mine literally was probably never worn. So it's in mint. It's pretty great. I'm glad to have it. It's a good piece of my collection. Even though it's not really from like a country I collect from and stuff like that. It's just a neat piece to have because it's so different from a lot of the other designs and like construction. It's very weird, and I kind of like weird. So that was actually, I think, one of the first 20 helmets I ever bought was that Iraqi M8003. One Vietnam helmet. Which Vietnam helmet? The pith helmet or the M56 or the Chinese ones that they got? I know, Moosey. I know. Here, go up there. Just purring away, aren't you? You're just happy to be here. No, you leave that alone. I know you like zippers, but leave it alone. No, you leave the zippers alone. You're gonna break your little teeth off biting those one day. Here, you go down there. I gotta try to talk to the people, and you're stop eating fuzzies off the floor. Leave them alone. God. 50s shells, 60s cover. Because they used a lot. Vietnam had quite a few helmets. They got a lot of them. The most common steel helmet was sent there by East Germany. They had a lot of East German helmets. They didn't have like a ton of helmets overall, actually. But then they got some Chinese-made helmets, stuff like that. Hey, you. So, yeah, the most common one was the East German M56 helmet. It's pretty nice. Ooh, an M1 helmet. Okay, so that is a American helmet. I'm restoring two M54 Winchesters. I know you meant Vietnam War. I thought you meant country of Vietnam. I understand that now. But I'm restoring two Winchester Model 54s. And I have two shotguns I'm working on. So I got a haul of some ammo today. I was out. You'll be excited to know I settled on the Winchester Expert 22 long rifle. So I went on an expedition to find one today, and I couldn't find one, and everyone thought I was crazy and had no idea what I was talking about. I was also trying to find some 2 3/4 tungsten and or bismuth shotgun shells. So I bought 2 Winchester shotguns and that M54 rifle in a lot at an estate sale that came up for auction here locally. So I bought a Winchester Model 54 in 30-30 and a Winchester Model 50 12 gauge shotgun and a Winchester Model 12 gauge shotgun all in one lot. I got a really good deal on it. It was for all three of those guns, it was about $2,500 after all the auction fees and stuff. So I came out really, really good on those because they're all in pretty good shape except for the Model 12. The Model 12 is a little bit crusty. Other than that, the Winchester Model 54 and 3030 was really, really nice. And the Winchester Model 50 12 gauge is really, really nice. So I think I came out pretty good on that. And then the other Winchester 54, I bought on an online auction on Gunbroker, and I got a pretty good deal on it because it's in a weird caliber. It's in 22 Hornet. So I bought a 22 Hornet. I'm looking for one because I like the 54, which is essentially a Winchester 70 with a different safety and some slightly different trigger geometry. I really want to find one in 220 Swift. I'd really like to find a Winchester 54 and 220 Swift. So I'd really like to get any rifle in 220 Swift. So I just picked up some dies for 220 Swift. So I'll probably start reloading for that before too long. I don't even have a rifle that shoots it, but it's been on the to get list for a long time as a rifle chambered in 220 Swift. So because I'm kind of into these weird kind of rimmed and semi-rimmed cartridges. And I just like the story of the 220 Swift. It's the fastest 22 on the market right now. 4,000 feet per second, you know? And its parent case is 6mm Lee Navy. So it's just neat. So I've always kind of wanted a 220 Swift. But I bought some ammo today. Looking for some stuff. The 54 is a freaking grossly overbuilt rifle for what it is. Especially my like little 22 Hornet one. They didn't change the barrel profile or anything. It's for a 22 Hornet rifle. The thing is heavier than sin. It is heavier than my 54 and 3030 actually, because the barrel has the same outer profile. It's just thicker than hell. So, and it's just, yeah. But I bought some shotgun shells and stuff today, looking for things. So some monolithics. I bought some 22 Calibris because I like them. I bought some couple different kinds of 12 gauge. I bought another box of 22 Hornets, and I found some of the monolithic 308 Winchester from Hornady. I know, right? Well, it's because the thing I like about the 54, and it was very forward thinking. The 54 is like the ultimate Winchester rifle for a reloader. And I'm going to explain to you why. And kind of the same reason that like a lot of modern day reloaders that are really into like pushing the extremes on ammo buy Tikas. Like I have a Tika around the corner here. You probably can't really see it, but it's like right on the other side of this black piece of wood here. You can see the kind of muzzle of it by Tika T3X Arctic there. And the reason is they only made the Winchester Model 54 in one receiver length. It is always a standard length action. No matter what round it was chambered in, it's a standard length action. Okay? And then all of the barrels are the same profile, and all of the bolts are the same profile. So everything is hugely overbuilt. And now what works really, really good for like, from a reloader standpoint, is you can take something like the 3030 here, okay, which is considered a medium pressure round. You could do like what I do, where you fucking really amp it up. You amp up the 3030 to like 60,000 psi from like 40,000 psi, because the Winchester 54 can handle it. It's designed to handle 30-06 and 270 and 300 H&H Magnum, you know, and all that other stuff. Okay, so it'll handle an uploaded 3030 Winchester, and then you can put these really, really long, high BC bullets in it because because the chamber length and the bolt throw is the same no matter what the length of the cartridge is. So you can have a longer cartridge, okay, overall length by putting a longer, heavier, better ballistically efficient bullet in it, and it'll work just fine in a Winchester 54, which is awesome because everything's always the same size in a Winchester 54, just like a Tikka. Tikka only makes one length action. It's a standard length action. So everything goes into that same length action, has the same bolt throw, which means you can take cartridges. The Tikka is kind of limited by like magazine geometry, but like you can, like for the shorter cartridges in the Winchester Model 54, it's just as easy as taking it because the magazine is housing is the same, like no matter what. Okay, but they put these little like plates in there and a shorter length follower for different cartridges. You can just get a 30-06 length follower and take that plate out, and then you have a full length magazine housing that you can put these shorter cases with longer bullets in and get them to work. So that's why the Winchester Model 54 is one of the best like vintage reloading screwing around with guns, because it gives you so many options to play with the geometry and pressures of the shell, and it won't hurt the gun. So that's why I look for 54s over 70s, because that's standard. Whereas if you go to the 70, you have short actions, standard actions, and magnum length actions. And the magazines are different things. Whereas on the 54, it's all the same. Everything's the same. So, and I like that. Especially like, I really like the 22 Hornet because it's literally just a 30-06. See, exactly. That's exactly why I like the 54. So it's that exact reason, because I can mess with the rounds so much because the rifle's so overbuilt and everything's standard on it that it doesn't matter which one you get. Okay, barring the 22 Hornet because the bolt head is a little different. The bolt face, I guess, is a little different. But it's barring that, it's pretty easy to interchange anything on a 54. So just don't try to find scope mounts for it, because it's a fucking pain in the ass to find scope mounts for. I still have to get a revolver. I really want to get a revolver in 32 though, like 32 H&R or 33 if I can find one. 327 Federal, because I could just shoot so many different rounds out of it. I could shoot 32 ACPs out of it, and I have a lot of 32 ACP ammo. I just think it'd be cool to have a revolver. But yeah, so if you're looking for a nice gun to mess with a bunch of reloading stuff on there, Todd, you can get like the 270 is a great one because there's so many different like 7mm bullets out there. And you can get some really long, really efficient bullets that'll work in that rifle. So it's pretty slick. But yeah, my 54 that's in 22 Hornet, which is a kind of rare model, because they only made them for a year. It's literally just a 30-06 one with a different bolt. That's it. There's literally they made a smaller magazine that just goes into the magazine housing to take 22 Hornet rounds. I could just pull it out. Like I take the floor plate off, I could just pull it out and put in a 30-06 follower and spring, screw the barrel off, screw a new one on, and it's a 30-06. Like bam, just like that. So it even has the stripper clip guide in the receiver still that the 30-06 ones had, but it's a 22 Hornet. But it has the clip guide on the receiver still. So it's just interesting how Winchester did that with the 54. So, and I like the serial number on it. It is on my 54 22 Hornet. It is 44,004. That's the serial number on it. So So it's just neat. I'm a big fan. Big fan. I do have to buy a revolver. But I really don't want to buy a Ruger LCR. I really don't want to buy a Ruger revolver. I mean, I could, I guess. I really like the GP100 a lot, actually. They do make those in 327. But Ruger's about the only one chambering 327 right now, which kind of sucks. Smith & Wesson did. That's what I'm kind of holding out for. I'm trying to find one of the Smith & Wesson 632-1 pros, because they make some in 32 H&R Magnum, but they are all hammerless, and I kind of like having the hammer. But it'd be kind of neat to find one of those 632-1 pros. If I can, stainless, because they made them in blued stainless. If I had to be able to have one, like if I could only choose one, it would be the Smith & Wesson 632-1 Pro in stainless. Big fan. Big fan. That's all I gotta say. But they come up on the market every now and then, but they're few and far between. They didn't make them for very long. Yeah, so I'm working on those two rifles. They basically only need stocks now, unfortunately. I know the company that makes the stocks, but I just don't want to shell out the money for it right now. And then that Winchester Model 12 is going to need a lot of attention, but it's kind of a rare Model 12, so I haven't brought myself to part with it, even though it's going to need an absolute shitload of work. It is it's a pretty rare model. It's a heavy duck with the English style straight wrist stock and a 32-inch barrel. So I'm trying to avoid more calibers, so that's why I'm trying to keep everything to like, pretty much all my pistols are like 32 caliber, which is like 8-ish millimeter. And I got one 380 and two 9 millimeters. I really don't want to get any more calibers. That's what I'm trying to avoid. Pretty much the calibers I have now are all I want to buy. I don't want to add anything new in the future. Lock Bars is here. Good evening, sir. We were talking about some gun projects I'm working on and how I'm looking for a revolver in either 32 H&R Magnum or 327 Federal. And I'm having a Windsor Pib, sorry. And I was telling Todd here about why the Winchester Model 54 is the ultimate reloader's rifle. Because it's a standard, they only made one action length and one bolt throw length. And all the barrels are the same profile. Certain model of revolver, a Smith & Wesson 632-1 Pro in stainless, if I can. But I'd settle for one of the 631 Ladysmiths in 32 H&R. They're both about $2,000, which is a bit pricey for me right now. I'd also get to do like for the World War I impression and stuff like that, and World War II impression. I guess I would get the one of the like Smith & Wesson hand ejects in 32 Smith & Wesson long. I need to get one of those as well. So, and those are cheap. Those are like $600. They're very cheap. And that's it for a really good shape one. It's like $600. Getting a Smith & Wesson hand eject in 32 Smith & Wesson long in shooter's grade shape, you could get one for probably $300. So. And so Lock Bars, I decided, because I got to get a new 22. I settled on the Winchester Expert, and I spent all day driving across town to try to find one because I wanted to handle one before I bought it. And everyone looked at me like I was crazy. I had no idea what the Winchester Expert is. Barney guns. What's wrong with Barney guns? But I was looking for a Winchester Expert. I didn't necessarily, if I would have found one that had the like wood stock on it, the Winchester Expert, I'm looking for the one with the wood stock, not the thumbhole stock, the traditional wood stock, and nobody could find it. I kind of like them, and here's why. They come in all copper variety, which I like to shoot all copper rounds. That's a big reason of what I was looking for today. I'm big into non-toxic, non-lead ammunition, and I think 35 caliber rounds are very cool, and I think they're making a comeback because people are realizing. Because like for the longest time, it was like you probably remember like the Magnum craze and stuff like that, where it was all about just throwing something as fast as possible so you have the lowest trajectory because like rangefinders were the thing, and all this other stuff. And then laser rangefinding became a thing, and realistically, most people are shooting 300 yards and in. Like realistically, most people are shooting 300 yards in it. I think these straight wall cartridges are great for that. And the reason they're coming out is because there is actually quite a few states where you are limited to 2 straight wall cartridges. So that's a big reason for a lot of these states. A lot of these companies coming out with, the 360 Buckhammer, and all that other stuff. And the 41 Great Lakes, the 400 Legend, 350 Legend, all that stuff is for these states that have bans on bottleneck cartridges. So you were limited to, before all of these rounds really came out, limited to basically 45-70, okay, pistol rounds. So like you would get like a lever action like 44 Magnum or something, okay, or 357, or a shotgun with slugs. That's what you were pretty much limited to in a lot of these straight wall only states and like counties. Some of them it's by county, some states. Like where I live in Minnesota, it was basically the bottom half of the state was shotgun only zone. So these companies came out with these rounds so these people in these states could get more performance without having to shoot like a 45-70 to get the performance, because I knew a lot of guys, like the state just south of us, Iowa, is a straight wall cartridge state, and there was a lot of guys it's a lot of cornfields and stuff out there. It's pretty flat in the grand scheme of things. There's a lot of people making some kind of larger shots, and you can't do that with a 44 Magnum. It's pretty hard to do that with a shotgun slug as well. So there's a lot of guys out there that I knew that are like, "Oh, I have whitetail with a 45-70 because it's really my only option." Well, that's kind of what the law was passed because of that. They're like, we don't want it to like over penetrate, and hit houses and stuff like that. But it's like that comes with like gun safety. You just don't shoot towards a direction where there's houses and stuff like that. You set yourself up to where you don't have to do that. It turns out it's more of a gun safety thing than it really is a firearms thing. And like this year, 2026 is going to be the first year in Minnesota where the whole state can use whatever round you want. As long as it is a 22 center fire or higher, the biggest round you are allowed to use in smokeless powder, because black powder is a whole different story. But in Canada, in smokeless, you can go from 22 center fire in smokeless powder all the way up to 50 BMG. That is the biggest, the smallest to the biggest you can go in Minnesota now anywhere. The shotgun only zone and the straight wall cartridge zone is gone now in Minnesota. And Iowa quite isn't there yet, but I like these straight wall cartridges because people thought they were stupid. And a lot of people in like these Western states where you can hunt with pretty much anything, thought it was really stupid. But to me, it makes a lot of sense because you got to think of these people that realistically you're using a straight wall revolver cartridge or a shotgun slug or a 45-70. That was the options. And that's not very good options for just trying to hunt whitetails. You know what I mean? So I'm glad these companies came out. There was a demand enough for it, and the performance is there. They work well. So so I understand it. It's kind of like what I was talking about with the 21 Sharp. People are like, that's the dumbest thing ever. Just use a 22 long rifle. Well, it's like California banned the use of lead ammunition. So that's all 22. No more 22 long rifle. And it's like, I could see other states, maybe not anytime in the next couple of years, but eventually down the road doing the same thing, banning lead. Lead is toxic. Even though people have been hunting with lead for years and lead core projectiles and all this other stuff, the science is there to show that when you do shoot an animal with lead or a lead core bullet, it can send lead through the meat and stuff, and then eventually you eat that. And you can build up, if you eat a lot of game that you shoot with like lead core rounds, you could build up lead in your system. Okay. A lot of people are more resistant to lead than others, and stuff like that. And if you've been doing it your whole life and yada yada, and you don't eat it don't eat wild game very often and stuff that you shoot and yada yada, I won't be too worried about it, to be honest. I wouldn't be too worried about it. But it's like, it's just one of those things where why don't we just go to copper? The technology's there. There's more people doing it than ever. There's more options. So it's like, I can see it. And it's kind of like, it's not a problem now, but it will be. So those 360 buck hammer, the 350 legend, the 400 legend, and all that stuff there's demand there because there was a problem. And that's kind of what I think the all copper people are going to and stuff now. And I've been an all copper person for a lot of years when it comes to hunting. Totally fine with lead target shooting. But when I'm actually hunting, I use all copper. So there was one company that made all copper 22 long rifle, and it was CCI. It was called 22 copper. It shot abysmally. And a lot of that is because people didn't properly, this was really early on in the all copper stuff. So it's like, you would have seen this stuff years ago. It's been discontinued for years now. 10 years it's been discontinued for now, actually a decade as of this year. But it shot terribly out of people's 22s. And so they discontinued it because it wasn't really well known like it is now, that you have to scrub your bore like entirely, like clean out all the corners of the rifling and everything back down to bare metal to shoot copper accurately. That wasn't a thing that people knew about 10 years ago. That wasn't a problem. They just thought the ammo shot bad. And it turns out that people still have it, that have used the bore polishing compounds and everything to clean all the gilding metal and the lead and the carbon fouling out of their bores, because 22 long rifles, heinously dirty. We all know that. It's heinously dirty. So if you went from just shooting regular, normal, copper washed or lead 22 long rifle to shooting the solid coppers shot terrible. But it turns out if you clean your bore and you shoot the all copper ones, they shot really well. But that was too little too late. So no, there is no monolithic 22 long rifle yet. I bet some company will try making it again, or maybe CCI will bring it back. But there really isn't a copper jacketed 22 long rifle either. It's all copper plated, which is a lot thinner than a copper jacket. So it's still heinously dirty in your bore, and stuff like that. So it's not the plated stuff, the copper washed, as a lot of time it is nowhere near as good as like a copper jacket. It still leaves lead in your bore. basically just keeps the bullet together barely on the spicy 22 long rifle. That's it. That's all it's there to do. It doesn't do much else. It doesn't stop the lead from getting into the meat. It doesn't stop the lead from getting anywhere. It doesn't really hold the bullet together any better when it hits something. It just kind of keeps it together while it's flying through the air a little better. Just enough copper to hold it together in the air. That's about it. It does still taste the same, but I try to avoid eating lead whenever possible. You know, that's why I don't lick the walls in old houses and stuff like that. But so I just really wish somebody made a monolithic copper 22 long rifle again. Till then, I'm just going to keep dealing with it. But or I could just keep shooting my 22 Hornet with the solid coppers. Those are nice. It's a bit much for a squirrel though, and it's kind of expensive. It's like this box I bought today, which is 25 cartridges. I think it was $30. $30 for this box of 35 grain 22 Hornets. Yeah, so this was like $30 for those. So, but I like 22 Hornet. So, but it doesn't stop me from buying lead 22. It's like for pest control, I got some 22 Calibris here, which are always really, really good to find when you can. So these are moving 710 feet per second, really screaming with these 22 Calibris according to the box. So, well, also, is there anyone out there who would like some Winchester Model 70 scope rings? Because I have a bunch of Winchester Model 70 scope rings that aren't like the right heights or didn't like line up right to fit on the Winchester Model 54. I found some that worked, but now I have a bunch of sets that I had to trial and error to find stuff that fitted. So I have a bunch. I got some fancy, like everything from Weaver tip-offs, which this works. This set actually works with the 54. As I found out, pretty nice actually. But I found a better set. Stuff like that. But couldn't find any. So what do you do? Oh, what a day. But yeah, so I really wish somebody made small copper 22 long rifle. But in the meantime, I'm just going to keep shooting the copper wash stuff. It's the best I can get right now, unfortunately. And I really got to find a rifle in 220 Swift. That would be the way to go. Has anyone else got any gun projects they're working on? Anything they found? Anything they want to do? Any dream guns they're looking for? Anything like that? Be kind of slick. I'd like to hear about what you guys are working on. If you got any gun projects or ammo projects or anything. Shit's very expensive. I agree. But it's not going to get any cheaper, so I'm buying it while I can. So, like, I was looking for tungsten 12 gauge shells, and they're damn near $50 a box for some of them. $50 for a box of 25 shells. So, but I have a lot of old shotguns, so I can't shoot steel through them. And you can't hunt with lead in my state, so that kind of limits me. That limits me really hard to what I can and cannot use. So, like, I was trying to find some 2 3/4 length 12 gauge shells that are non-lead. And that's a real big pain to do. I can find anything in 3-inch. But finding like the bismuth or the tungsten, like 2 3/4 shotgun shells, is really hard. So I'm probably gonna have to order some, unfortunately, which sucks. So let's see if I can find some here. See if they make any even. I should also get a suppressor too. So they do make it. They do make 2 3/4 bismuth shotgun shells. So oh well. They just don't carry them anywhere in my like 5 gun stores, which really sucks. I also need to get a suppressor. I think I'm actually going to start my application process on that this week for a suppressor. So, which I only have a few guns that I could put a suppressor on. Even most of my stuff's pretty antiquated, as you could tell. But the neat thing is like my most common hunting rifles are both 30 caliber, so I can use the same suppressor for both. So it's pretty much everything I have 30 caliber. Well, I got it. Yeah. Well, let's see here. I got pretty much everything's 30-30 Winchester, 308, 303 British, couple 8mm. Can't shoot the 8mm through a 30 caliber suppressor, but none of those are threaded anyway, so it's fine. But yeah, be pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Yeah, my Tika right there. I really want to suppress. I got to get a different scope for that too. I want to get a much lower profile scope for it. I have a LVPO on it right now, but I think I just want to get like one of those Leupold 4.5 to 14s because I have a 1 to 10 on it right now, and I really would kind of like some more magnification of it. But it'd be the perfect one to suppress because it only has a 20-inch barrel. So even if I get like a 7-inch suppressor, it would still be kind of manageable for what I'm used to. What's my opinion on a 357 Magnum in a rifle? I think it's fine. That's what a lot of the straight wall cartridge people were doing for a long time. They were buying those like lever actions in 357 to hunt with. A lot of 357s and 44s. And the neat thing about a 357 is if you shoot it out of a rifle barrel, it actually gets way more performance than out of a pistol. So I was actually kind of impressed what some of these people were doing with the 357 out of like a 20-inch or 22-inch rifle barrel. It was doing really good. Ooh. Is that a good shirt? What shirt? The shirt I'm wearing? because the shirt I'm wearing shouldn't cost $100, but I really like it. So this is a Woolrich made one. This one I believe I have a couple of them that were after they outsourced, but this one I think is one of the ones that's from back when it was still made in America. And this is called the Oxbow Bend flannel shirt. I like it because it's like extra heavy. You know what I mean? So it's got the like padded shoulders, the double padded shoulders on it, the nice collar. The buttons are just regular flap buttons. It's a herringbone pattern. And you could get these for pretty reasonably priced. They're really nice. I think they were about $30 each what I bought them for. So yeah, this is the Woolrich Oxbow Bend. Hello there, Lexi. We were talking about ballistics and rifles and pistols that I'm looking for. Shid like that. So yeah, I'm looking for 32 pistols and revolvers, and I'm looking for a rifle and 220 Swift. Yeah, I think I bought most of these on eBay. eBay's a great place to look for vintage clothing, especially good quality vintage clothing. I own 7 Woolrich Oxbow Bend shirts. Love them. They're great. They hold up really well. Still in Minnesota, yep. The Great White North. Snowed today quite a lot. Went to go look for a 22 today. Settled on the Winchester Expert in 22 long rifle. Couldn't find one. Found plenty of Wildcats, which is the semi-automatic. Could not find the Winchester Expert, though. So I'll probably have to order one, which sucks. Well, I don't go to Minneapolis, so Minneapolis can do whatever Minneapolis be doing. I try to avoid there. And pretty much everyone else does too. Let them do their thing down there. I'm not too worried about it. I'm like 70 miles away from there, so, and even then, still a bit close. So yeah, shot some videos today to get them edited and stuff. They are currently downloading. I was hoping to get it all done today, but the internet here is still not like super good. So I had to. They're still downloading to the point where once they're downloaded, I can then edit them and then start uploading the videos here sometime this week. So I did get some videos shot this week. So what are you going to start reloading, Alexi? What's the first thing you're going to reload? Because I bought some dies for 220 Swift today. So gotta love it. The 220 Swift. 4,000 feet per second. The screaming hottest 22 you could get. Other than the 22 ear split and loud and booming. I have a Dillon Precision press. I forget what model it is because it's currently sitting in storage right now. But now that work has really lightened up, basically every day except for Monday, I'm only working like 4 hours, but I'm getting paid for 10. So I have some extra time. So I'm going to start setting that shit up again so I can start making some of my weirder ammo. So yeah, the 220 Swift, 1,220 meters a second. 1,220 meters per second. Smoking. Dillon Precision is widely regarded as probably one of the best reloaders you can get. If it's not the best, it's probably second best. Um, they're very, very highly regarded. So very, very highly regarded. They also make really great sunglasses. If you ever get the chance to buy a pair of Dylan sunglasses, some of the best sunglasses you could ever buy. Really expensive. They're like $400. But it's a really, really good pair of sunglasses. I got 2 pairs of them. Got them for like, no, I've got a multi-stage. It's pretty nice. It was expensive. I did shell out a couple $1,000s for the whole thing. So, but it came with a lot of really, really nice stuff. So, and I got some nice dies in there for it. I only have a couple sets of dies. So there you go. 253,000 Savage. It's a really, really good cartridge. So why a 253,000 and not a 22,250? You just want the like nostalgia of the 253,000. But it's not really all that bad once you kind of know what you're doing. I normally tell people to go start on like a crappy single stage to like learn how to do stuff, because once you kind of know what you're doing, then the multi-stage tends to get a lot better, make more sense. But I really, really like my press. I don't think I would need anything bigger for what I do. But the only rounds I currently reload for are 303 British, 30-30, 308 Winchester, and now 220 Swift. I only load for 4 rounds. Everything else I kind of just I should get some more of my black powder ones. Like I do need to get a set of dies for the Snyder, and then a set of dies for the Wurndl here, which they make, and start doing the black powder stuff. But especially since the Snyder is so easy to reload for, and you get a lot of life out of the brass. So I'd also like to start loading some 12 gauge, because if people aren't going to carry 2 3/4 non-steel or non-lead 12 gauge shells around here, I'm gonna have to start loading for them, and I could just buy bismuth shot and load shotgun shells, because shotgun shells are also very easy to load. So, and then I could kind of spice them up a bit, really spice up my. We're back. I don't know what happened there. I didn't lose any internet connection or anything. I agree. A lot of the 250, need more love. They really do. So they're kind of making a comeback. The 25s are making a comeback to a degree. The people that know about the 25s, about the 20, the 25 is like an elite class of people. They're all super mildly. They all will reach out and touch. They all seem to have more than enough knockdown power, even for a tiny little bullet. Like the 25 calibers are, the people that shoot them know what they're about, and they're a very hardcore kind of person. The 257 Roberts, the 25-06. One of my favorite 25 calibers, the 257 Weatherby. 257 Weatherby is a weird looking round. It's a very weird looking round. Roy Weatherby, though, the guy who founded Weatherby, that was his favorite round, was the 257 Weatherby. So he was a 25 caliber guy, even though the most popular Weatherby cartridge is the 300 Weatherby. Yeah, the 25 ACP, the vest gun. See, that's what you should be collecting there, Todd. You should become the 25 guy. Start carrying a little vest pistol, a little Colt pocket pistol, and a bunch of 25 caliber rifles. I mean, a way to go. Give him a little bip. So, yeah. The good old 25s. The thing that killed the 25s was the 6mm revolution back in the day. So, because the 25 calibers are a little bit bigger than 6mm, but what killed them was the 6mm Remington and the 243. And there was a couple other 6mm back in the day. Pretty much all of them are gone now, except for the 243. But like, that's what killed off the 25s was the 6mm, and now they're all gone. And a lot of the 25s are still here, and they still have a big following. So I'm gonna stick to 30. I'm gonna be a 30 caliber guy. Just be my old FUD cartridges. All my rimmed old FUD cartridges, because I like rimmed ammo quite a lot. Rimmed and semi-rimmed. It's the way to do it. I like primary extraction because I'm kind of weird and I like guns to work in the very, very cold. So, and a rim helps with that. A rim helps with that a lot. Right, time to mix up the second drink here. Having some Windsor. I've killed, most of the things I've killed have been with 303 British or 30-30 Winchester. I'm a big fan of both of those cartridges. Unfortunately, I have shot more things with 303 British, because that was the first gun that I had was a 303 British. But I've come to really, really like 30-30. It's a much milder recoiling. The 308 seems to be, for where I hunt and what I shoot, a bit excessive. Not that it's too big or too powerful or anything, but I don't need a gun that can shoot 500-600 yards. The little 30-30 will go out to 200. It's about all I need. There's a lot of heavy brush where I am, so I'm not going to make a 500-600 yard shot. So I don't need a gun that can shoot 500-600 yards. 30-30 works just fine, and 30-30 is cheap. It's very cheap. So, and you can really spice up a 30-30 to be almost as hot as a 308 with the right rifle, like I was talking to Todd about earlier. I put some of those really long, high BC bullets in it and spice up the powder charge, because I shoot it out of a bolt action. I shoot 30-30 out of a bolt action. So my state lets me hunt with the FAL. So I got a parts kit for one up there, and then I have one. It's in the other room. I have one in the other room. So I can hunt with a FAL. I'm just limited to a 10 shots in the magazine. So I have one magazine where I put a block of wood in it. Took off the floor plate. I put a block of wood in it, so all you could put into it is, everything's $1 around right now, Todd. But the neat thing about 30-30 brass, if you're just shooting factory 30-30 and you're loading it to factory specs, you can get 10-11 reloads out of a 30-30 case, because there's so much more brass there than there is in the rimless options. So that's one thing I did really, really like about the rimmed ammo, is because there is so much brass, and since brass work hardens, The thinner it is, the faster it wears out. And since you have so much more brass on a rimmed cartridge, you can get more reloadings out of it, especially something that's it's medium pressure. 3030 is considered a medium pressure round. It's only 46,000 psi. It you can get a lot of reloadings out of it. So, and it takes your standard 30 caliber ammo, and it runs really good. So, especially now, if you're a big lever gun guy, lever guns are coming back into fashion. They're all fucking new vogue again. Lever actions are, and which sucks because you're limited once again to pistol rounds, 30-30 or 45-70. There isn't too many other rounds out there that you can get in lever guns right now, for a lot of states and a lot of loadings. The 30-30 is the one that you can do the most with if you're reloading out of all of those cartridges. There's so many different bullet weights, bullet options, bullet lengths, bullet metallurgy, stuff like that you can do. So it's a perfect round. It's killed everything in North America billion times over. It is one of the most ideal rounds. So been around since 1895 and it's still going strong. It's arguably more popular now than it ever has been, actually. So absolutely devastating. I do want to take this bad boy out though and shoot a deer with it. The good old, right next to the 30-30 there, another big boy lever gun cartridge. It was actually one of the most powerful lever gun cartridges. Also a medium pressure cartridge, technically. It is a 405 win. So I showed it off last week, but I got 200 rounds of that shit now. I have 200 rounds of 405 Winchester, and I have a 30-inch heavy barrel Winchester 1885 and 405 Winchester that I just got done putting 4.5. So it's a 50 millimeter objective. Old. It's older than I am. Gloss Leupold 4.5 to 14 scope on. So once it warms up a bit, I'm gonna go sight that in and just absolutely fucking bust my shoulder with that crescent fucking butt plate it has on it. But I'll get it sighted in, and I wanna go take that to go kill some stuff this year. But since I got so much ammo for it, thing fucking hurts. It's the most painful gun I have to shoot, I think, is that. So, but it's a nice round. It's a medium pressure round. Once again, you can get a lot of reloadings out of the brass. So I plan on getting a lot of reloadings out of the brass. It's 41 caliber bullet. So, what years is my Winchester 1885? It was made in 2007. So, yeah, it is a Winchester made one. It's one of their like limited run ones, but it's made in 2007. So, I'll get a video on it eventually, Todd. And I got it used. It's new to me, but it's a secondhand gun, and it looks like it was hardly ever used. But it looks like it has one little gouge in the wood stock. Other than that, it looks brand new. So I can't complain. It's a beautiful, beautiful rifle. There will be a video on it. And now that it has a scope on it, it does shoot really well with the iron sights. It shoots really, really well. So I just have to get the scope sighted in on it. I know, right? So I was very happy to have it because I always wanted a 405 Winchester, but I didn't want to buy an M95 because I'm not a lever action guy. Never been a lever action guy. That's why my favorite shotguns are bolt action. You know, most of my rifles are bolt action. I have quite a lot of single shot falling blocks. I like those a lot. I like a lot of single shots. And like a lot of people ask me all the time what my end of the world gun is. I'm like, it's a single shot shotgun. Go buy a single shot shotgun and buy a bunch of slugs, buy a bunch of bird shot for it. Okay, it's all you're gonna need. You use the slugs to take down bigger game. You can use the birdshot to take down small game. It's always going to go off. It's light and easy to carry. Nothing to really go wrong on them. They have like no fucking parts. They're easy to maintain. So, well, Alexi, did you know that Winchester released the 1895 lever action again just a couple years ago? And you can get it in quite a few calibers. You can get it in 30-06. You can get it in 30-40 Craig. You can get it in 405 Winchester. I think they make them in 270 Winchester now. So if you're looking for something cool, and then if you know a good machinist, you could probably get somebody to screw a Mosin barrel onto it for you and put the clip guide, and you could make the Russian contract one if you really wanted to shoot Mosin rounds out of it. Which I don't know why they didn't do that. You know how much money fucking Winchester could have made if when they brought back the 1895, they would have brought back the Russian contract? Or like made one that was like a Russian contract looking one, but in 30-06 that took the strip of clips. Like, do you know how much fucking money Winchester would have made if they would have done that? Like one of the new made Winchester 1895s had the clip guide on it. God, that would be... They would be making money ass over tea kettle. Old boomer fuds couldn't get their fucking wallet out quick enough. It's like, I'd probably even buy one then. Like if they brought out the Winchester 1895, some of the new made ones, one in 7.62 by 54 and one in 30-06 that took the clips. Yeah, that would be slick. So that'd be amazingly slick. Because they have the fucking blueprints for it still. Be really cool. Maybe I should write them and tell them that. Maybe you guys should, well, since you're making the 1895 again, you mind making one in 7.62 by 54R? And then make them in the musket model with the clip guides? Do one in 30-06 too for the people that don't want to try to track down 7.62 by 54R? I'd probably be like, that's a good idea. And I take credit for it and make a shitload of money, and I wouldn't even get any money out of it. I'd be fine if they would just send me one. Or give me a discount even. If they gave me one for like half price, I would buy an 1895 musket 7.62 by 54R. Heck yeah. Winchesters are super expensive over there? Doesn't Europe have like a Winchester kind of like license? There's like a Winchester Europe like there is over here. Like we have like all the European gun makers also have like a like CZ USA or like Beretta USA or any of that stuff. There isn't like a Winchester EU over there. Because somebody's got to be importing them. Or do you guys only have like the old Winchesters? See, that would be cool. Winchester 1895 Salary and 30-06. That's a pretty beast of a gun. I still don't own anything in 30-06. I said I'm not gonna. There's a lot of guns I want to buy. So that's not as bad as I thought you were gonna say, Alexi, because over here they're about $2,500 here in the United States. So to buy those new made Winchester 1895s. So they're actually more expensive here than they are in Europe. So, but comparatively, Pedersoli does do Winchester rifles, the older ones. They actually just came out with one that shoots, yeah, it's pretty similar here. But yeah, they're really nice though. Those new made Winchesters are. They really did skip on the quality, and they're making them in Portugal now. They don't really make them in Japan anymore. So maybe that's why they're kind of cheaper there in Europe, is because they're Winchester's making most of their guns in Portugal now. So But yeah, that's not so bad, and they're really nice. You get really good piece of wood on the Winchesters, and their finish is not only pretty, but surprisingly durable for being bluing. Um, yeah. So Pedersoli is making those lever actions, and you can get them in modern calibers. Like they started making 1873s, Winchester 1873s in 9mm Luger, which is kind of cool. I think that's kind of cool because I've always liked the idea of a pistol caliber carbine, but I would want to get one in like 32 Smith and Wesson or like 32 ACP, and there really isn't any of those out there. So Henry makes lever action in 32 in 327 slash 327 Federal Magnum slash 32 H&R Magnum. But it doesn't have the loading gate. I want the side gate. I don't want to fucking have the tube. That's why I wanted to get a magazine fed 22, because I don't want to have to fucking deal with the tube anymore. I'm tired of dealing with the fucking tube you have to pull out. Which is whatever. It's fine. It's just a personal gripe of mine to not have to fucking deal with the tube. I'm getting really pissed off dealing with the tube. That's all. Nothing too crazy, too fancy. But I know I want to get a 327 Magnum revolver. You're getting all the energy and stuff of a 357, but you're getting a little more performance out of it. And it's much lighter recoiling. So, and oftentimes the same model of revolver, you're getting a whole extra round in the chamber. Hell yeah, see? But I just don't like the tube. I'm getting tired of the tube. I always seem to fucking bend it. Or you get like a bunch of shit up in there. Like you drop the tube in the dirt and it'll get like dirt stuck to it, and then it's like fucking grindy and shit. And it's just a problem. It's just a problem. So I'm just tired of the tube because like I've dealt with the tube on this one for a long time on the old J.C. Higgins. I can't bring myself to get rid of that 22 though because it was my dad's. Because of all the guns he owned, that's the last one left. They all got sold off. Except for that one got saved. So it's the only one I got. I know 6 rounds in a J frame that you're getting the same energy as a 357, but the lower recoil. That's a no-brainer. Like that is a fantastic. But the thing is, people aren't interested in the 327. I think it is catching on. It's building steam slowly. But I was kind of on board from day one because I'm a big fan of the 32s. So big fan of the 32s. So I got a lot of 32 man stopper pistols. The good old 32 ACP, the 7.65 Browning. But I got to buy a 22 first. I buy a little 22 long rifle. So I gotta do that. But gotta find one first. Because I want to touch a Winchester Expert before I buy one. I want to touch it. Get all intimate with it. But I handled the Wildcat today, which is the I do actually. That's what the 22 Hornet is based off of. Not the 32-20, but the what is it, the 25-20? Neck down, but with smokeless powder. That's what the 22 Hornet's based off of. So I do like 32-20. I have shot in 1892. A jet fired 22 ACP. I know, right? 25 ACP is also making a comeback. It's one of those weird rounds where you never thought it would. You never thought it would be making a comeback, but 25 ACP is making a comeback. Surprisingly, for some reason. But I'm a fan. I don't own a 25 ACP, but I know, right? I think the 327 is going to catch on. It's going to catch on eventually. It almost has to. I'm pretty anxious to try these out too. No, it's all those. It's all the 9s now. Everyone's fucking 9s and 380s. You hardly see anything that's not a 9 or a 380 anymore. So, I'm really looking forward to trying these too. The good old monolithic copper 308s. I think that's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun time. I should have the scope rings coming here, I think tomorrow. The scope rings are showing up for the 22 Hornet Winchester Model 54. We're talking about the greatness of the 32 caliber pistol rounds, like the 327 Federal Magnum and the 32 ACP. Talking about those, can't go wrong. Yeah, fair. It's easy to hide. I'll give 25 ACP that. It is the easiest to hide pistol caliber. But like, imagine if somebody made like a modern day pistol in like 25 ACP with like a double stack magazine. You could have a gun the size of a deck of cards with like a 17, 18 shot magazine. You know what I mean? That's pretty hard to beat. And it's like, here's the thing, like getting shot in the end. Everyone's like, oh, it doesn't have the stopping power. Cool, you got 18 rounds. Fucking just keep shooting them. So I like 32. 32 seems to be kind of the sweet spot for me, but I also have tiny hands, which is why a lot of my handguns are 380. And the 2 9s I have are single stack. That's tiny little baby hands. So I know, right? The new Cheetahs in 380, when they have the rails and stuff, they're pretty slick. I still think they don't have as good a lines, and they aren't quite as nice, I think, as like the old Cheetahs. The old Cheetahs are really slick looking. And I was like, I really hate Beretta. The Beretta pistols for some reason. They all have got some weird ergonomics for me. And I don't like the like slide mounted safeties a lot of them have. Some of them have the frame mounted safeties. But I like the old Cheetahs. I've really thought about buying. I have heard of the new high powers, and Springfield just came out with a new high power, a high gloss finish high power that's going to be coming out here. So I do have the tiny hands. That's why I shoot a lot of 32 ACPs. And I got 2 9s. I got a Sig 239 and a Sig 210 and the Steyr-Hahn. I have a Steyr-Hahn. So exactly, it's something about it. So, but I did shoot a Beretta Cheetah. It's the 81, right? That is the 32 ACP one. That thing was slick. That thing was real slick. And I got one that was like, it was some kind of country's police gun, and it wasn't like entirely shot out. And it was really slick. It was a nice gun. Well, the cool thing about a lot of the 25 ACPs is there's no hammer and stuff. So you don't have to worry about hammer bite. But yeah, you got to watch where its slide is. I remember when me and Mike were out shooting his 1911 for the first time, because he bought an actual like 1911, like a property marked, like government property marked actual 1911, not an A1, an actual 1911. And the very first shot he took out of that, he got hammer bite so bad he bled. So I think that changed his opinion on the 1911 right there. Because I never really liked the 1911 because they didn't fit in my hands right. But I think he started to come around on not liking the 1911 when it bit him that bad. So I agree. I think there's a lot of great stuff coming out of Turkey right now. There's a lot of fucking unhinged bullshit coming out of Turkey right now as well. But I think a lot of the faithful reproductions and stuff coming out of Turkey are doing great. And the thing is, a lot of them seem to work. Like people are always worried that like the guns aren't going to be as reliable coming from Turkey because they're like a third to maybe even a quarter of the price. But they all seem to work. Like the one thing that really started changing my mind on the Turkish guns was the like Turkish Benelli clones, like the copy of the Benelli M4 and like the Benelli 3100s that are coming out of Turkey that are like $400 instead of $2,000, and they run just as well, if not better, than the actual Benellis. So well, the 1911 was a dumpster fire of a gun. Actually, I think a lot of the guns that came before it and after it were better. I think the Colt 1903 was a way better gun than the 1911 was. It's much easier to take apart too. Then you look at the thing that John Moses Browning, he didn't get to finish it, but he designed it as a replacement to the 1911, the high power. 13 round staggered stack magazine of 9mm. It was finished by his apprentice, but way better gun. So heck yeah. Well, I have enough shotguns. I have too many. I'm still anxious I got to fix the stock on my Greener GP Martini Henry. 12 gauge shotgun because somebody put a butt pad on it and it's like not even good. It's not even the right size. Like the butt pad and the little like plastic plate that goes between the rubber pad and the stock are like too big for the stock. So I got to get that fixed. I'll get a nice like I'll get it extended about 2 inches because I kind of like a longer stock on a shotgun. I'll get it extended about 2 inches and then have a regular like steel butt plate put on it again. So I actually really like the high power. I carried a high power for quite a few years, and I like the high power. The high power seems to work for me. It's one of the few like 9mm. It's not a double stack; it's a staggered stack magazine that seemed to work for me. The ergonomics were fine. I do hear a lot of people that have bigger hands tend to not like the high powers. But for me, having really tiny hands, it was a pretty comfortable gun to shoot. The ergonomics were all right enough for me. I didn't have to readjust my grip a lot like I have to with a lot of the double stacks, like the Glocks and stuff. The magazine's like thin enough and rounded enough for me to still get my hand around it. So, yeah, I agree. The 1911, with that like straight back kind of like trigger thing it has going, is nice. It's kind of the same reason I also really, really like my Tokarev, is that kind of trigger, that kind of like sliding straight back trigger, the non-hinged triggers. I really like that on the 1911 and like the Tokarev. I've held a lot of Glocks and haven't found any that I like. I'll tell you what, if Glock started making a 32 ACP Glock, I'd probably have to buy one. But they won't because they're too like tactical. We only do it in the like couple of calibers because we're squares. But I think it'd be really cool to see a 32 ACP Glock or a Glock in some weirder calibers. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm surprised Glock hasn't made a 32 ACP Glock because there's so many police agencies around the world that use 32 ACP because they can't use a military caliber like 9mm or like 10mm or like 45. So they're limited to like 32 ACP. There's a lot of police agencies around the world that are limited to like 32 ACP. And I'm really surprised Glock hasn't been like, here you go. Because like a lot of these countries are using like SIGs that are chambered in 32 ACP, which are like way more expensive. But it's like, I'm surprised Glock hasn't done it. Hasn't like made one kind of like, doesn't need to be like the full size model like the 17, but I'm surprised they haven't done like a Glock like 45, like the slightly smaller one, in like a 32 ACP. And just being like, here's a 20 round flush fit magazine for it, police agencies would be lining up to buy those. But Glock won't do it. They won't do it for some reason. They're all about innovation, except for when it comes to innovating. So I've been saying it for 4 years. The best thing about Glock, other than the fact that they do seem to go bang every time, but to be fair, there's a lot of other pistol companies that go bang every time. Okay. The best thing about Glock is their marketing department. Well, that's what I'm saying. This is law enforcement. There's a ton of law enforcement agencies that are limited to 32 ACP, and they won't make a 32 ACP pistol. But it's just, they always seem to like recently too. And I'm not bagging on Glock for any reason, like anything. Shot a lot of them. They make a lot of money. They work, blah, 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 blah. But it seems like they're always kind of like behind the curve on technology now. Like the changeable palm swells, the, quick detach, blah, 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 like the quick detach slides and other stuff like that. They were really cool when they came out, in the 80s, with the polymer frame. But I think that's the last time they were really like innovative. Was when they came up with the polymer frame. They really haven't been the first to do anything else. The pistol itself, like how it works, isn't even that innovative. It's just a Browning tipping barrel action, which tried and true, it works. But like, they're so easy to manufacture because they're square. You only have to do like a couple. Japan's limited to it. France is limited to it. A lot of the Balkan countries are limited to it. A lot of the like Southern Asian countries are limited to it. There's quite a few countries that are limited to 32 ACP. So a lot of people forget about France and Japan. Those are big splash. Right now, the Japanese police force, They're using a bunch of fucking worn out SIG P230s in 32 ACP. That is their police gun, a SIG P230. So in 32 ACP. And it's like they would buy thousands of Glocks in 32 ACP if they made one. Yeah, I'll give them that. Everything's made to use their magazines. So yeah, the local PDs. I know the national police can because they're part of the like federal government, so they get like the military budget and stuff. But like, yeah, local PDs and stuff like that are limited to like 357 Magnum, 38 Special, and 32 ACP. So the regional people and the locals. There's a lot of 32 ACP pistols in France that are being used. So there was some police agencies like in the more rural parts of France that just got rid of their rubies like 20 years ago. They were using 100-year-old. Yeah, they were using 100-year-old rubies that they just kept getting new barrels for. So, because they were limited to 32 ACPs. Yeah. Pretty shitty, if you ask me. Pretty shitty. The good old gendarmes. The good old gendarmes. The gendarmerie. Sorry, I'm playing with one of my tip-off Winchester 70 scope rings here that I gotta find a home for. They do. Yes, they do. 32 ACP. It's the best pistol round. We all know it. Pretty much. My 2 world wars and my colonial wars and all this other stuff, and my I killed Hitler and my I started World War One and all that other stuff. 32 ACP. The Ruby it's a great pistol. That was it's still my longest used carry pistol is my Ruby. I used that thing for a long time. Till the firing pin broke on it. And I should really take it in and get it fixed and get a new firing pin. So I really should. Because I think it'd be kind of nice to carry that thing again. Because as much as I like my SIG P230 SL and my Steyr Hahn, I think it'd be kind of nice to carry the Ruby again. 9 shots, 32 ACP. Fixed little pyramid sights on it. Beep, 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 beep. Really good trigger on it. Mine, anyways. I've shot some Rubies with pretty heinous triggers. This one's got a pretty decent trigger on it for what it is. I like the heel release on the magazine. I'm a big fan of the heel release. Not a big fan of. I mean, I can use the button release, but I really like the heel release for magazine retention. It's pretty slick. Oh, all right. We'll probably wrap it up here shortly. We've been going for an hour 45. I got to do some video editing and stuff yet tonight and all the other jazz. And I also got to make dinner. I also have to work on my trigger pull. I'm an abysmal handgun shooter. Like, I can hit a target like just fine, but it's like my groups aren't the greatest, which is, I guess, actually kind of preferred for a trigger for like a shooter in a self-defense situation. If you drive all your pistol rounds into like one little hole like that, they want you to have slightly more spread than that. They don't want you to like miss, obviously, but they want slightly more spread than that. So it's like, but I'm just an abysmal pistol shooter. So I really got to get out and practice that more. I'm a great rifle shooter, fantastic rifle shooter, just abysmal pistol shooter, absolutely shit. And I got to do some more work with the shotguns. I got a lot of shotguns I want to pattern, so get those all done. So yeah, I know. It's like, that's how people kind of know that I'm like telling the truth when I say I'm such a good rifle shooter. It's because like I'm a fucking horseshit pistol shooter. I'm just terrible as a pistol shooter. So, and I'm really bad. But like I'll work on it and I'll get better. It'll come with practice, and especially now that I'm at a job where I'll have some kind of more free time throughout the week and time to do stuff. I just got to wait for it to warm up. It'll be really nice to go and do that. Go shoot some pistol and work on that this kind of spring and summer. So, but anyways. I think I'll call it there because I still got to go cook dinner. I have to go edit some videos, and I have to shower still. So, but I appreciate all of you stopping by for this Sunday night shid, because Mike's Friday night shites are kind of few and far between. So I figured I'd start up Sunday night shid. So you can try to join me here. I'll try to do it on a pretty regular schedule if you wanna plan for Sunday nights for a stream. That'd be kind of nice. I could start maybe having some guests and stuff again and all the other jazz. It's cool talking about guns and ammo. I like talking about guns and ammo. So, but thank you all for stopping by, and hopefully I can see all of you here in the future, and hopefully sometime this week, some videos are going to be coming out if I can get them edited. Monday's my heavy day for work, but the rest of the days, hopefully light days, and I can come in and get some of these edited, start getting some videos back up on the channel. That'd be really, really awesome. So thank you all. I'll probably see the Discord people who've been pretty active this evening here in just a little bit. I'll be flying to that while dinner's cooking, while my lamb shanks are going. So thanks. I'm happy to help, kids. Just remember, don't make me have to do the disappointed dad finger at you guys. So take care of your guns, clean your shit, and stay out of trouble. All right. Talk to you all later. See you next week. Toodaloo.